Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Good morning. I forgot to put the good morning, beautiful people on the phone thing like I always do, so I was a little late. How are you guys? Good morning. You know what? Because it was Mother's Day on Sunday, I am going to wake you up this morning with the song that my first mother, my adopted mother, because she really was the second mother because my first mother birthed me. But anyway, she used to wake me up every morning with this silly little song that I hated, and if I wouldn't get up, she'd snatch all the covers off the bed. That is the worst thing you can ever do to me. Just letting you know. So the song goes like this. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces. This is the way to start a new day. Yeah. Huh? Imagine hearing that 100,000 times between the ages of 1 and whatever. Yeah. Anyway, well, good morning to you, beautiful people. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. I'm in a great mood. It's not gray here today in Chicagoland. It's sunshiny, but still a little chilly. We're going to get into the warm weather, I think, starting right around Thursday. We're going to hit the 70s. Stupid me. Guess what I did? Again. Last year, I went to the growing places where we get all of our color, our flowers and stuff are out and around, and I'm a deck king. I am a deck king. My man cave and my deck. Well, and all the stuff outside. I do all that. And last year, I went and got a whole bunch of stuff, and our aunt was saying, it's too soon. Wait until Mother's Day. I was 2 weeks before Mother's Day. I was like, what does she know? 2 nights later, I was out there at 2 o'clock in the morning hooking up plastic and sticks trying to make a greenhouse so my stuff didn't die. So this year I said, well, I'll learn. I'm not doing that. But then I took this great big old plant that's in our foyer. So I'm putting her outside on the deck because I've been tricking out the deck, right? I got speakers put in last week, a TV mounted on the big tree, one of those ones that can stay outside. And we got a fountain this year. And Thursday, they're bringing that fire pit with the propane fire thing with all those little glass pieces or rocks that look like glass or whatever. Can't wait. Can't wait. I'm living out there. I'm putting a bed out there before it's all said and done. I'm just saying. But anyway, all of a sudden, it gets down to like 30 something, 36, 35 at night here, right? And my poor plant is just flourishing in the foyer. I put it out there. It's all browning up. I brought it back in yesterday, and I've been like dousing it with holy water, praying on it, laying hands on it, all that stuff. So pray for it to come back from wherever it is, because it ain't looking good. So I learned my lesson. I'm going to just be patient. I don't know what it is. I get so ahead of myself. It's that ADHD. But anyway, yeah, it really is the ADHD. I just can't stop. So anyway, that's that. How are things in your neck of the woods? How's your week going? Today is the 11th day of May. We are easing our way on down the road. Big holiday coming up in just a couple weeks. Memorial Day weekend. What are your plans? It should be a lot better than last year's, right? Because so many people have received the vaccination or are inside the vaccination process. And even for those who haven't, I got mine. So, we were really excited this past weekend when our family was here from Los Angeles. And it was nice that everybody was vaccinated, so we didn't have to wear masks. It was just felt really good to kind of be back to the way things were. Can I get an amen? Listen, that's the bell of purpose. And it means, what it means. But if you don't, first timer, or, you forgot, it means that something good is going on in the neighborhood. It means that there is some content out there. Somebody has said something, put a comment in or spoken it here on the screen, the guests or myself, that we really want you to pay attention to, because it's all about the conversation, right? So we pour into each other through story right here. And our theme this year on season 5 is show me your soul. And we promise to show you ours. That means we're just going to be vulnerable. We're going to be transparent, and we're going to be of service and pour into each other. Can I get an amen? Help me at this time. Welcome to the show. She's here every day. This is my sidekick, my version of Ed McMahon, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. And I ain't even going to lie. I made a second pot of coffee yesterday, and I was not pouring it out last night. So I warmed her up this morning right here. So this is a rewarm, and it is that same, whatever I said it was yesterday. It's that. So today we're going to talk about some fun stuff with my guests. They've been here before, but now they got something new on the horizon that I wanted you guys to know about. A wonderful show called Lounge with Legends. I know you were trying. You know what? Marty Martinez got to have all the attention. I'm trying to pay attention to y'all, and he's down in the green room acting like the camera's a makeup mirror. Anyway, we'll get him in here. He can do it for y'all. He's quite the fella, I'm telling you. And James Phelps as well. They are the co-host of a wonderful new show on the E360 network by the name of Lounge with Legends, where they celebrate veteran success. And we're going to talk about a few things today. One of the main things today that I'd like us all to talk about, so get your comments ready, nimble your fingers up and get ready to type in lots of comments and questions, is about transitioning. You notice there's a lot of people transitioning for one reason or another during this time that we're in right now. COVID last year changed a lot of directions for a lot of us, right? So we're going to talk about that and find out how they are dealing with it and what's going on and what their plans are with this new show and everything else going on in their lives. They're both veterans, and we love that. Ooh, I need to put the flag up in the corner today. Yeah, let me put that up there. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Aw, you want a kiss? Is that what you want? That's RB. He's my new little friend that was in my photo shoot with the Triple Nickel people last weekend. And RB stands for Rainbow. Rainbow Bear. Get it? RB. Rainbow Bear. Love him. He's going to sit right here forever, aren't you? There you go. Okay, and he has a purple nose. Isn't that cool? So anyway, let's get him in here. It's time. I'm actually a minute late for bringing the guest in. Put your hearts on the screen and let's welcome to the stage our good friends and the host of Lounge with Legends, Marty Martinez, also known as Moak, master of all knowledge, and James A. Phelps, who's not really known for anything yet. Just kidding. You are known. You're known as the Asian Persuasion.
That's a different life.
He calls himself.
That's what I heard.
He goes by Spartan 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys, well, welcome back. First of all, thank you for being here today, and Marty, thank you for wearing that robe. Very nice. What resort did you steal that one from?
A Holiday Inn.
They still have those? Why does it say Motel 6 on the corner over there?
It's an old road.
It's got somebody else's name on it. What person's name is on that? Seriously.
Right. Doesn't it say doctor something?
Oh, you have your wife's robe on, don't you?
No. I tried. It didn't fit. It says Damoose.
Damoose. Who's Damoose?
The show's not long enough, Lauren. You might not want to go down that. So.
You know what? If this was Bathrobe Moments After Dark, I had a good one for that, but I'm going to leave it alone because there may be children watching. So I wanted to say hello, and welcome. It was so nice to see you guys in person for the very first time 2 weekends ago when we were there. And what a great weekend, huh? And you're wearing all that triple nickel gear. Where's mine? Mine's over here. I had it on yesterday. Triple nickel. We love those guys. And tell everybody where you each are in the world today, and give them a little backstory, and then we'll get started. Why don't you start, Airborne?
Well, we both are. So is that both of us?
Yeah, you go first, James.
Oh, okay. My name is James Phelps. I'm actually in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's
Raleigh?
where I'm calling in from. Oh, yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina. You know I'm from the South, right? My mom's from the South, South Korea. But anyway, loving it down here in the South.
Okay, and tell us about what you're doing in your life right now outside of the show and whatnot.
The biggest thing right now has been just dealing with some, family things. We've had unfortunately, a recent death in our family.
Right.
So really trying to, keep pushing forward, keep moving forward in a positive manner. And, just remembering, actually it's my wife's mother, and Elizabeth Smith, Miss Elizabeth Smith Withers. And, it's just, it was an eye-opening experience for me, just experiencing, her decline in health, and just being able to see my wife take care of her was actually an eye-opener for me. So that's what the things that I've been doing. But it just was a friendly reminder how important, how short life really is, and how what you do matters. And you need to make every moment count. So that's what I'm striving to do now, from this point forward, making every moment count. And, I've been blessed with great friends like you both. I consider you both my friends. And, that's what it's all about, the circle that you surround yourself with.
Awesome. And so sorry for your loss, your mom's, your wife's mom and all. I know that had to be hard. And she lived there in the home with you all. And, you have small ones. And I just can't even imagine the conversations that you have to have when something like that happens. And you wake up and something's just different in the world, the space that person left behind. So I know what it's like.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. And my wife said thank you, because she knows that you all have said prayers for her as well. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to meet her and the kids.
We're coming to Chicago this summer.
Oh, good. Well, you got to come. We got to have dinner.
Absolutely. My wife is planning the trip. We'll talk about that later, but definitely we're planning a trip to Chicago. My wife's the vacationer. She's the planner. I just show up with the bags, and she'll tell me where to go, and I say, yes, ma'am.
I know that's right. That's kind of my role too. Matter of fact, we're planning our vacations for the year this weekend. We got the books already, and we're doing a road trip. We're actually going to the Carolinas first. We're going to drive it, looking for that retirement place. Anybody here ever been to Lake Tahoe? No, we're thinking of looking there too. So, Marty, how goes it?
It goes. Coming at you from just outside of D.C. in Springfield, Virginia, where it's actually sunny today. The rain has stopped, which is good. It's nice. And, Yeah, I mean, things are going well. We've got, as you know, James and I, we have footies, rocking the footies, and yeah, I mean, can't complain.
Right? And what difference would it make anyway, right?
That's what I say. Can't complain. Nobody listens.
So, Marty, how many years did you spend active duty?
28.
28 straight years.
28 years, yeah.
And you've been out how long now?
Officially 6 months.
6 months. Okay. And James, same question.
I did 21 years, 6 months, retired from the reserves in 2020, January 1st, 2020.
Okay, so you have a little more
yes, Marty's older than I am.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel it's a much different? Well, Marty, your wife is in the military still.
Yes.
And James, your wife's an attorney, so she's not military. So do you miss anything? Do you feel different? Do you feel,
For myself to be, transparent, I did a transition back in 2003, 2004 when I left active duty. So my actual transition period was then, and then I went into the National Guard Reserves because I missed it. So I actually used the reserve and the Guard as my outlet to get back to, have my foot still back in the military mindset. But I miss it every day. I don't miss the job. I miss the people. That's what I miss.
Right. Now, a little known secret that a lot of people don't know about you, Marty, you might want to talk about is a lot of people don't know that you were a child actor, actually on the show The Munsters, playing the role of Eddie for many years. And
yeah, he did a great job with that.
Oh, you made me snort. I'm kidding. I've been dying to say that to him, but I didn't have the guts to say it in person. I sure I was like, he came to me when we were at dinner, but I was starting to go, and I said, no, because you don't know that PTS. That might, you see, I left the D off too. See, I don't put the D on
I appreciate
anymore.
that.
You taught me that. Yeah, but I was like, don't he look like, I bet you that's what Eddie Munster looked like growing up. I'll have to find a picture, put it up on split screen. But anyway, you guys, before we go any further, I wanted to give you just a little taste of what the guys are doing with their show. This is from their very first episode. Very first episode. They were just getting started. Let's listen. This better not. Okay, there they are.
Well, here we are. Our first episode of Lounge with Legends with your host, Marty Martinez and James Phelps. And it's our very first episode. We're calling this
He just said that.
I know. The episode with two broken Rangers. And so, speak for yourself. I'm pretty broke. So, what we want to do is I'll kick this off on why Lounge with Legends is there are a lot of podcasts that are out in the cyber world that talk and focus a lot on the post-traumatic stress and a lot of the difficulties that we have when we return from combat. And we say we're counting the narrative, but that's not necessarily in a negative way. What we want to do and what we're going to do with this show as part of Joint Task Force 214 is we're going to celebrate the success that our nation's heroes, the veterans, have had with their success from the military. And so we have Joint Task Force 214. The reason we call it 214 is because the 214 comes once you leave the military.
DD.
The Department of Defense gives you, let's call it a DD 214. The Joint Task Force 214 focuses on our veterans that have transitioned from the military and are hoping to become entrepreneurs.
Okay. Well, that tells you right there. That was great. I would have never believed that was the first one. The first one for me was like, oh my goodness. Do you think it helped that there were two of you instead of just one?
Oh, absolutely.
I bet. Yeah.
I can do anything with my Ranger buddy.
Right. So listen, on a serious note, you said in your monologue there, in your openers, you mentioned the term broken.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that.
Me or James? I'll let James take it.
For myself, here's the thing that we got to remember too. Every situation, every veteran is different. And a lot of times we try to put everyone into the same story, and we have different stories. My story changed from Marty when we had a breakup back in 2003, right? So when I left active duty, that's when I left Marty and the spirit that I had as far as like the active duty mindset. So for myself, broken, I spent 15 years trying to figure out who I was. Up until recently, Marty and I ran back into each other. I was able to run into him when he was promoted to lieutenant colonel. And then we didn't talk again for another 2 years or so. And then we ran back into each other. And I was like, look, man, I know you're recently getting out. And I kind of explained to him my story and how for the last 15 years, I've been just aimlessly wandering through life. And I could not figure out what it was. But, for me, it's about relationships. And the thing that I've always missed is the camaraderie and that esprit de corps that the military gave me, a sense of team, something being part of something bigger than myself. Mm-hmm. And what happens is the narrative that's right now, and the reason why we like Triple Nickel so much is they also have the same mission. It's like, hey, we all, and this is being maybe negative a little bit, but I haven't met more airborne rangers, Navy SEALs, SOCOM, Special Forces soldiers more since I've been out of the military
than when you were in.
Majors. Everyone I meet says they're a Navy SEAL or airborne ranger or Special Forces. I'm like, okay, I got you. So the bottom line is we all don't fit in the same mold, and that's why I like the Triple Nickel story, because we all don't have beards. We all don't. We're not all, yes, we, suffer from, PTS. However, that doesn't define who we are. That's just a label. Right. I am James Phelps. That's me. My title is irrelevant. What's important is, to me and my family, I am James. So I don't know.
Right. So tell me something here. What is it? Let's break it down. Let's peel the onion if we could. What is it that pisses you off the most or disappoints you the most that you see happening to service members who separate because this is a touchy subject. It really is. And Marty, I'm going to throw this one towards you first, because you're kind of going through something right now. Your wife's about to get stationed in Germany, and it's not as easy as just packing up the house, transferring the kids, having a goodbye party, kissing people and saying see you soon. You're facing a lot of things that could make your family dynamic a very different place, right or wrong?
Absolutely right.
Talk about it if you feel comfortable with it.
No, absolutely. So there's a couple of different things, and you hit on it. There's I've recently retired. So a lot of us that retire or get out of the military, there's a hard stop. But I'm still in the military, and that now I'm an active duty spouse. So now I'm a dependent. So this goes all the way back to when I was, a baby. I was born into the military system, was a dependent until I joined the military when I was 18. Then I served till I was 48, and now I'm back as a dependent. So for me, it's a huge transition. And then in the military system, there's also the transition in the military system with now my medical goes from where I was active duty, tip of the spear, got everything I needed, to now, okay, I'm a retiree, or can I get medical care here? How do we prepare? What's the best avenue to get care for our family? How do we prepare the family to go overseas? There's all these different dynamics, and it's a bit, I've accepted it, but I can imagine for a lot of others that are in my boat, similar boat, there's a mental transition as well. And James and I talked about this. I took a while to file, and I'm getting off subject a little bit, but I took a while to file my my VA benefits claim. And for a lot of people, it's, well, the Army broke you. The Army needs to pay you for they broke you. I got that. But for me, having lived a life since I was 18 years old, I've been jumping out of airplanes up until I just left the 18th Airborne Corps, 4 years ago, still jumping out of airplanes while I'm 47 years old. There was a switch for me that I had to admit to myself that I'm no longer Peter Pan. I'm no longer kind of tip of the spear because I am broken. There are things that are wrong with me. I have herniated bulging disc. I have migraines. I don't sleep. I have all these normal things that, somebody in our line of service deals with. And so that's a process you have to go through. And now, again, you're talking about going to Germany. That's where we're possibly looking at. How do I now get all the care, get the family, get everybody over, get the school? There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to process when you're doing all this. So here's
a lot of people think that just because your wife is being stationed there, transferred, that automatically everybody aboard, let's go.
No,
that's not necessarily the case. There are people that get transferred and they sometimes have to leave their families behind for one reason or another. I don't think people know about that.
Right. Yeah. So we have to go through what's an EFMP screening, which is an exceptional family member program. That's saying you have medical conditions, you have mental health, you have whatever it is. There are certain things that put you in this EFMP, exceptional family member program bucket. Because my kids are fine. Praise the Lord. It's me. I'm the broken one. I've got, again, like I mentioned, I get chronic migraines from the war. And so because of that, I'm being fully transparent. I require Botox injections to help me with the migraines because I get them about 4 times a week. But now.
I knew you looked awfully young.
Exactly. Already. Yeah.
So that's it. Okay.
But when I'm active duty, I can get them all I want, because it's prescribed by the military. So 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I was fine. But now that I'm a dependent and a retiree, now Germany says, no, we can't give it to you. It's only for our active duty personnel. Now your wife has to come by. We want your wife to come by herself for 3 years. So we're going through the whole system, and it's just all part of, how do you deal with these kind of things? And there's a lot of transitions that you have to go through.
So how do you feel about, and before we get into this question, I just want to let you know when you said, about you realized you're not Peter Pan anymore. And I totally feel you on that, because when they told me I was no longer Tinkerbell, I was devastated. Absolutely. It took me months to get over that.
That's why we're such good friends.
but anyway, but seriously though, what do you say when you hang up the phone and they say, oh, your wife can go, but you guys got to save what? So Marty, how do you feel as far as, do you feel like they just shit on you? I'm just keeping it real. I mean, after all you've given.
So my philosophy is get mad, get over it. And then how do we make this right? So start planning courses of action, hunt the good stuff, find that positive growth mindset. So, it's the same thing. Every day I pick up my daughter. I ask her, okay, what's one thing you didn't like today? So she says, well, someone didn't play with me. Okay, cool. What are 3 things you liked about today? And then she tells me about the good stuff. That way I force her to think about what are the good things in her life. And it's the same thing about when we got the news. I'm like, those mother beep.
Right.
Okay, wait a minute. What now? Let's look at. We're obviously we're going to push back because everything's negotiable. The Army has a waiver for everything. We'll figure this out. But what are those other courses of action? What's plan A, B, and C for this so that we can keep moving forward?
Right.
Because, this is, it's, again, everything's negotiable. But it definitely, for 28 years, I've always heard, and I've even said, the Army's that evil mistress. As soon as you're done, she'll forget about you and move on. Everybody's replaceable. And man, that really hit home a few weeks ago. We heard the news of, no, you can come, but your husband can't. He's too broke. He's too broke for a Landstuhl Medical Center. You're like, what? That's pretty broke. So,
wow. See, that's really interesting. But then again, when you really walk all the way around, the lifestyle of a military person, it makes sense then why the people that you work with up close and personal, and the bonds that you forge as friends and compatriots and fellow soldiers and all that stuff, are so important, because the military itself, that stamp, USDA approver, that stamp is one thing, but it's balanced out, I think, because of like the relationship that the two of you have there. But what I'd like you to go into now, James, I'll throw this one to you, is this is where I think you guys can help a lot of people who are just of a civilian nature, that are dealing with all of the transitions that so many of us are going through.
Right.
James, you had a family member in the home. You know what I mean? A lot of people lost family members over the last year that were in nursing homes or hospice or senior living centers that couldn't get to them, couldn't spend that last time with them. Marty, now you're dealing with this thing about selling your home and moving to Germany and all that stuff that's inside of that. And then there's so many of us here who are changing what's going on, or the direction or the trajectory of our daily lifestyle, whether it's our work, our family life, etc. So military people have groomed themselves, or been groomed in a way, to be able to really be flexible. It's almost like you're Pokey and Gumby. You have to really be able to bend, because you never know at a moment's notice when your life is going to completely turn around. So if you guys could, and I'm going to leave you guys on the screen and jet out for a second, if you want to talk about some of the things you've learned about how to make it work when you have no choice but to make it work. What are those things you reach for? Like what you were saying with Isabella, who is my favorite little person in the whole world. I'm not kidding, you guys. Did I tell you guys? I told you guys, but I'm gonna tell you again. When we were there, and it was her confirmation, right?
First communion.
Confirmation's later when they're older. First communion, and she had on her little gown, which your mom had tied in knots around the bottom so it wouldn't drag the ground, which was cute. And then she had her medal on, and I was thinking, this has got to, listen, her first piece of jewelry that I know of, you know what I mean? She's got it on, and I'm like, wow, what was your greatest thing today? This is your big day. What was the best part of your day? Why did she look up and say, meeting you, getting to meet you?
We paid her.
You must have. And it had to be a high dollar.
She was asking about Lauren the entire time. As soon as she got there, she wanted to go see Mr. Lauren, and that's all she wanted to do. And then she went over there, and she was just so excited. I mean, I showed her last night. I showed her, hey, look. I showed her your preview video. And I said, look what we're going to be tomorrow. She's like, Lounge with Legends going to be on Bathrobe Moments. And so she was pretty excited. We'll show her tonight.
Yeah, she's so genuine. And I put her right here with this little girl who was at that's Sean Douglas's Air Force. He has a show on the radio. Bye, honey. Have a great day. The Air Force Radio Network. And his little girl was at the Power Week Symposium, and she gave me a soul hug, which I'd never had. When she hugged me, everything was, her legs were around you, her arms, and she just was going like this. And I was like, my goodness, that is the best hug I've ever gotten, ever. And I just say, I love kids. We learn so much from them. They're so unconditional. And Isabella is now one of my favorite little people in the whole world. And that little mini me of yours, boy, boy. I think I could probably babysit him for about.
He's already doing the Derby Queen. He's getting ready for Ranger School and doing the Derby Queen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he follows in your footsteps. Hold on, I got to tell this. She's so rude. Look. Alexa, be quiet. No one even asked her anything. Remember when you used to have to say her name?
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. She thinks I'm playing. She's gonna end up in a garage sale if I ever get off my butt and have one. But listen, if you could talk about in your show now, and that's what I love about this. Talk about divine timing, celebrating the successes of veterans, because sometimes, a lot of us out there, those of us who are in the civilian, whether you're prior military or not, I find myself looking for something to say in addition to thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem adequate enough when you know the real stories.
Right.
And so when you guys put this show together. You called it Lounge with Legends. What in your mind is the definition of a true legend? Because it's more than just what's in the dictionary. Explain that for us.
So the legend is, in my mind, is somebody who, despite all the odds, has done a successful transition. And if you look at every success story that's out there, and success is defined by you set those parameters, but every success story is a story of constant adaptation, revision, change, relentless optimism. Because if you don't have those things, if you don't have relentless optimism, then you're not going to be successful. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the ability to continue to embrace, not failure, but the ability to fail, because fail is a first attempt in learning. Failure is when you stop getting up. Mm-hmm. So the legend is never a failure. The legend is okay with failing. If you fail, that's going to give you that optimistic attitude that can get you moving, get up, and just never stop. And so the legend is the person that can do that, and then hopefully instill that in others.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think Marty's spot on. Is to be a legend, you have to go through struggles first.
Yeah.
You cannot, everything is just not peachy keen, right? So to be a legend, there's going to be some type of struggle in the darkness, and you're going to come into the light. So it's for me, a legend isn't about a job title. It isn't about money. It's about values and leading and making others better. If you are a person that's making other people better, then you're a legend to me. If you are not making them better, even though you have a lot of money in your bank account, even though you have all these yachts and all these homes and all these cars, that's not what makes you a legend in my book. Right. What makes you a legend is how many lives have you affected, and what's the legacy that you're leaving in this world when you leave? Because we're all going to leave. Right. And it's important what we do during this time, to do exactly what we say we're going to do. The show started basically, with, Lounge with Legends. It's, I say this all the time. I said this when I was a company commander to my soldiers every day. I would go in front of them and I would tell them, hey, look, it's not about me. It never has been. It never will be. It's not about you as a person. It's about others and making other people great. As far as leadership goes, in my opinion, is if you build a team strong enough from the outside looking in that you can't tell who the leader is, that is leadership. If I can pick out the leader, that's not real leadership. That's dictatorship. What leadership is being able to look at that group from the outside and say, who's in charge here? Is Marty in charge? Is Lauren in charge? Is James in charge? I don't know, because they're working on something collectively together. So, I tell this before to you, Lauren, let love lead. If you lead with the love and value, everything else will take care of itself.
I agree.
That's it in a nutshell.
That's it. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So have you had any people that you reach out to? I know you're booking guests down the road ahead of time and all that. And I know when I had the honor of being your first guest on the show. And I remember when you told me what the title of the show, the name of the show was, I was like, what the hell you want me for? Because in my mind at the time, legend felt like, like at the end of your career when they give you the what's that thing? We were laughing last night, Brian and I was talking about, because I was like, can you see Ariana Grande getting her Lifetime Achievement Award 40 years from now? She'll have that gray ponytail thing hanging out. And, and it's like, that's what I think of when I did before your show. I always thought that legendary meant that you were at the end of the road, headed for the upper room and all of that. But no, not necessarily so. You can be doing legendary acts just like Isabella did. Mm-hmm. Just like Isabella is, and many other children and kids and teens and tweens and all of that. So what is it you get from people when you say, we want you on our show, Lounge with Legends? They're like, well, of course. Of course, you know. Or what is it? Are you getting anything back from people that kind of surprises you about that title and why you want them?
Can I take this one, Marty, real quick?
Sure, absolutely.
I tell you what, Marty has a sphere of influence. He's in the DC area, and then he's met a lot of connections over these 20 plus years, 26 years, 27 years.
28.
Yeah, 28. I'm trying to downsize you. But anyway, over these years of experience, but to be honest with everyone, we have been getting such great feedback. I mean, it's always absolutely, what can I do to be on the show? We have people that are reaching out to us, and I'm a biblical person, so I pray every day. Every morning I wake up, the first thing I say is, "Hey, look, I ask for God's blessings, because I know if I ask for His blessings, He will provide that for me and to us." And it has been a blessing. I tell you, every person that we have asked, knock on wood, has been more than willing to be on the show. I mean, we've got people that are lined up that, I don't want to steal any thunder, but that I was surprised we were able to get on the show. I was just like, "Are you serious? You want to be on the show?" Because, here we are, we're just starting out, and we need a lot of help. If you want, we need more YouTube followers. We need more LinkedIn followers. We need more Instagram followers. We need more Facebook followers. What we're trying to do is grow something bigger than ourselves, right? So how we made it in the military, that's how we're going to continue to make it. And as long as, Marty and I are true to each other, true to our word, and do exactly what we say we're going to do, everything else is going to take care of itself. Are we going to make people mad along the journey? Absolutely. But you know what? As long as I'm doing it with integrity, then I don't have an issue.
Let's talk about that for a second. That's a great transition point. As far as disrupting, did you guys talk about that between the two of you? Like, did you draw some line in the sand? Like, we can do this, but we better not go there. Because, you say the wrong thing or you imply the wrong thing, and you know how that military.
Hey, Lauren, Marty's the MOAC. Marty is a straight shooter. He will tell you exactly what he's thinking 100% of the time. He is not going to hide anything from you. If he doesn't agree with something, he's going to let you know. So I would say no. What do you think on the answer to that, Marty?
No, I think, as we look at this, is you have to rip the Band-Aid off and have these discussions, because what we're hoping is you're not going to find us doing 22 push-ups, because it's unpopular, I'm about to say, but that's a bunch of narcissistic crap. You want to stop veteran suicide? Pick up a phone. Or like what we're doing is we're having harsh discussions, having true discussions, so that if there's somebody there in a dark spot going, "Do you have suicidal thoughts?" "Yes." "How do you deal with it?" "Well, I have a growth mindset." "How did you create a growth mindset? Why do you do this?" And what we want to do is we want to tell people that you can choose to go back into safety, or back into what you perceive as safety, what you perceive as that is really a dark spot. Or you can move forward and choose growth. Get out in the sun, get outside, because there's other people. There are these legends that we have on the show that have been there and are actually have made not just the transition, but the transformation from battlefield to business. And that's why we're not putting any harnesses on what it is, what we're going to talk about, what we're not going to talk about. It's out there. I know last week we had some interesting discussions. The week before we had some interesting discussions. Every week is different based on our guest. And so it's fascinating, because I don't know where it's going to go. I think I know where it's going to go when we do our discovery calls, but then who knows? I didn't know that somebody was going to talk about the show before the show when he went in the Air Force. But Lauren.
You know about me?
My dad's still talking about Lauren's show, by the way.
Really?
But
yeah, he is.
Well, the thing is I'm still learning about myself through the lens of that experience.
Right.
I really am. It's amazing to me how, and a lot of the new learning I can say is directly associated with reconnecting with more military-minded people, because I had a lot of stuff sitting in there in the pantry that I could have been using, but I wasn't, because it took so long for me to turn that off and turn this on. You know, I was like, you know, I don't even go to that house anymore, let alone the pantry. But I've changed that. I've changed that mindset. So, if one of you, both of you can tell me, share with us, what would you say is the greatest attribute or life lesson that you have learned and have taken from all of your active duty years within the military that you know is a great foundation for anything and everything that you would do post military life? What would that be?
For me, it would be dexterity. You know, that's what makes the the American military what it is. We can function and be flexible, right? We can adapt to any situation. If you, as an entrepreneur, are not adapting every day and changing, hey, the COVID changed my whole business model. If you're not adapting and changing just like that, having that dexterity from being in the military, if you bring that dexterity to your entrepreneurship, I promise you, you will succeed. And Marty's already said it. You just got to keep moving, keep showing up, surround yourself with like-minded individuals, get rid of the negative folks, say what you're going to do. You know, we joke around about it, but we are FM 2100, right? 22100. Be no do. Be exactly who you say you're going to be. Know exactly how to do what you want to do, and then just go out and do it. It's so simple, and yet, you know, it's 3 words, but yet to me it means so much more. And you know, obviously, you need to do it with integrity.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got anything to say about that, Marty?
Yeah, for me, it's just keep moving forward, just one foot in front of the other, and that's something that I learned. Honestly, my first days in the military, as I was going through the Ranger indoctrination program to try to become, you know, a member of the 75th Ranger Regiment. As you're going through, they literally drop you off at 2 a.m. and you just start marching with your rucksack on and your rifle, and you're doing 12 miles and you're just out there in Georgia, and it just stinks. But I just kept saying, I want to wear that black beret. I want to be a Ranger. I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. And that's what taught me the growth mindset. That's what taught me about relentless optimism, because I want to keep moving forward. You know, what is that goal and what are you willing to do to attain your goals? The relentless optimism that you're going to learn in the military in order to be successful, to endure the hardships, are what's going to give you a higher percentage chance of experiment or achieving your goals and success. And that's what I learned from the military.
Awesome.
And just to add on with what Marty's saying, I think the other key aspect of what he's saying is you need to have somebody at the top there with you to share the experience. You get to the top and you're all alone. What good is that?
Right.
If you don't have family around you, a supportive relationships around you, then it was for nothing, in my opinion. You know, I just experienced this with my mother-in-law. If you don't have the support and the family, then what is it for? You're not taking it with you.
Got that right. We have a couple comments that I thought were worthy of throwing up on the screen. Bradley James says, and he quotes John Quincy Adams, 6th U.S. president, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." Very nice. Thank you, Bradley, for that. Very true. Keep that one, you guys. Put that one in your pocket. Back the car up. Take that home with you. Sherry McQueen says, "Thank you, Marty and James, for creating a show that is going to help thousands of people. Thank you for your sacrifices. For me to be able to lay my head on my pillow, knowing that you all say, 'Not on my watch.' Thank you. Love and light to you and your family." And that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bradley also says, "Be, know, do, the mantra of true leadership." Love it. And finally, there she is, Lori Whitney, reconnecting with your inner self. So I just can't believe we got 9 minutes left. This thing has flown by. So what is next? And let's talk about the show a little bit more. Will you just be interviewing veterans? Or what if there's a spouse of a veteran who has transitioned, or a child of a veteran who wants to celebrate? Are those kind of people allowed to come in and tell the stories of veterans that they feel are heroes, that they feel are legends, and why? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, right now we're veteran heavy, but we would say those in the veteran community and those sponsors of veterans. So
The allies.
Supporters of veterans. If anyone can get Gary Sinise on the show, that'd be great. But people like that, sponsors, supporters, family members, children of, it'd be huge because there's a reason that my children and James's children and all those kids out there are called the Army brats. It's actually a British term, the British relocation, something like that. But it's an acronym, of course, military, that we adopted for our kids. But that last month was the month of the military child. And we don't realize that we ask our children to do so much. So, if there are kids that are, grown up and can talk about what were the effects that the military had on you and maybe your relationships that you had with your father or mother that was in the service. Or, hey, I grew up as a military brat, but I still decided to do it. What's that story? Absolutely. Because, there are people that have a story out there and want to share it. And there are people that need to hear the story. So absolutely.
We're just about a celebration. We want to celebrate success, and it's a celebration. If military spouse, military dependents, those are all sacrifices. And to me, if you ask me the question, who made the ultimate sacrifices as far as in my family, I would have to tell you my daughters. I've got 2 daughters that didn't see me for 18 months straight. And when you come back from a deployment and you get off the aircraft and you go run to your child and they don't know who you are, that feeling never goes away. So so absolutely. We if you're a veteran supporter and you, not just words, but in deeds, then you give us a shout. Let's get on the show. Let's talk about success and let's move forward together.
I agree. Here's a hot topic that I don't know where you're going to go with it, but I'm sure you go somewhere with it. I'm headed back to January, when I'd like to know what happened in your worlds with your friends and family and fellow military members when what went down in DC, the insurrection I speak of. Because you guys have actually been in combat, sent and deployed to do basically what we saw happening. You were sent to defend. But then what went through your mind when you saw on television or however you heard about it, that situation? What did it make you feel? I'm really curious about that. Anybody?
Marty was closer there, so he actually probably it was on his doorstep.
Right.
Going on. So
10 minutes from the White House, right?
Yeah. I was sad. That's not what we stand for. That's not the right way to handle it.
Right.
There is freedom of speech, and people think there is a muzzle on it, but I don't think so. There is, last week we talked about wallowing in wokeness, but it's all about perception. There's a lot of people that are taking liberties on what they think their freedoms are, and I don't think that was I don't think that was the right way. I don't think that should ever happen in our capital, because the world is watching, and we are the greatest nation. I'm opinionated, but
biased.
Everyone is watching, and they're seeing what happens here. And that should never happen again in our great nation.
I agree, James.
We are leaders. We're supposed to lead by example. And as Americans, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to be showing we're the greater good, right? That's what we need to be standing for. Everyone is watching us. And like Marty said, if I had a magic wand, what I would do is, if I could just have every American experience life outside of the USA, in some of the countries that we have visited, I promise you, and I reassure you that you will understand how blessed and fortunate we really are. And you want to talk about freedom. We we actually do have freedom. I have a freedom to come in, be on the show, freedom to have a cup of coffee, freedom and honor to be, within your guys' presence today, this morning. So if that isn't freedom, I don't know what is.
I agree. Nicely said. So, really quickly, as we wrap things up, how do you feel, each of you, last question, how do you feel? Do you feel that this country has grown or digressed since you first entered the military 20 some odd years ago each? Have we gotten better? Are we doing better? And if not, why do you say that?
So I think we've grown. I think we've matured, but I think we've also grown apart. And one of the things that I had to deal with a lot when I was in Iraq was my battle space was with the Sunni and the Shia. And the reason I bring this up is because much like in America that's happening today, is it's easy to focus on what makes you different, Sunni or Shia, black, white, Catholic, Baptist, gay, straight. It's what we need to focus on is our common denominators and what makes us great.
Woo, woo.
And so that is, hey, unity, right? Yeah. It's hard. It is definitely hard. But by focusing on what makes us great, the common denominator, and then having the discussion with your neighbors and saying, hey, how do we reconcile differences? How do we get better? How do we grow again? And how do we heal our wounds? And it's not necessarily going to be changing the name of a base. Not that I necessarily disagree with it, but I don't think that's going to necessarily heal everything. I think it's having the discussions, and as we talked about the other day, just while having dinner, breaking bread with people, that having those discussions is just going to be leaps and bounds of what helps us.
I agree. We have a couple things I just want to end with. Dano of Weekly Dose of Dano says, how can we support if we weren't in the military? Good question.
He's doing it right now by watching. I mean, he's got a great show too. Just being a supporter. I mean, Dano, we love Dano. You know that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing we can do right now, if you're not to help us out, is go on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Lounge with Legends. Help us get to our 1,000 subscribers and the viewers, so we can get that out there. Help us crack the algorithm so that we can get the word out. We're working hard to get our word out and let others know about it. And if you encounter military veterans, let them know about the channel so they can watch it. Hopefully we help someone in need.
There you go. Finally, last comment from Kids Canada. Thanks for great content, Lauren. Thanks for sharing, James and Marty. Important insights we all need to hear. And you can't hear something if you don't speak something, if you don't say something, if you don't share something. Find what it is that you feel you are an authority on. Find what it is that you feel is important enough to initiate a conversation. Sometimes you have to be the odd man out, or girl, as the case may be. But the thing is, you won't know who supports what you're supporting if you don't start the conversation. We need to do better. And through avenues like Lounge with Legends and Weekly Dose of Dano and the plethora of different platforms that are available today, to open our mouths, unstitch our lips, to tell the stories that need to be told. Not only are we telling stories, we're creating them for future generations. Keep that in mind every day. Don't keep anything in the dark, because nothing grows in the dark but mold, spores, viruses, and bacteria. If you want to take care of any of those, bring them into the light. Life will begin and reign eternal. So I want to thank all of you. Thank you, James. Thank you, Marty. And thank all of you for joining us here today on this installment of Bathrobe Moments. Have the conversation. Love up on the veterans and the military people that you know, and pray for the ones that you don't. We are living in a world that is safer for anybody else where we are in the United States than anywhere in the world. Don't forget it. Don't take it for granted, and be of service. So listen, Lounge with the Legends airs on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to rotate all of the connectors as we get out of here. Make sure you go over and follow and subscribe and support. Okay. Tomorrow, I'll see you guys back here, God willing. It's Ask the Experts. We have a third new expert tomorrow in Tim Chung. He'll be here telling you how to monetize your Instagram. And then we'll have, of course, Dominique Rivera, the Oracle, and of course, Tracy Randolph, the Reset Coach. All three experts here to answer your questions and your comments tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I'll meet you out front on the front porch. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you so, so much for all you do and all you continue to provide as far as pouring into us. God bless you. God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Get out there and be the blessing in this world that you'd like to receive. Bye, you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine.